have so much to say. I'm running out of time to say it. Soon, everything that I expected to accomplish will be accomplished. And everything that I dreamed of accomplishing will be left to humanity after I'm gone. And seeing the lack of human beings truly coming together to do the right thing, seeing people cling to what is socially normative and only not conforming when they are doing it as a group, which is a form of conformity. I don't have much faith in humanity. The picture that I used to illustrate this video was posted by a Semitic man on Facebook. Surely there are parallels to be drawn between Africa and Palestine. I blame the guilty, no matter how they try to guilt trip me and say they did this and that and this for me. No one has ever done anything for me other than my parents. And they have also done a lot against me and collaborated with the government to do it. So when all is said and done, I don't owe anybody anything. I have not accepted money to compromise myself, not even a penny. When people are denying you what is rightfully yours, if I was an atheist, I would say the right thing is to take it. When you see in this picture that the water is being cut off by a person with white skin, we all know how it works in general. The black man is denied very basic things. And of course they take advantage of the situation. This is called exploitation, of course. And when I see the badge called exploiter, and I consider how propaganda affects social norms, I am forced to the conclusion that I've been right all my life, and now there's a millionth plus proof that verifies it. If you did not help me, shame on you. But an even bigger shame is if you conformed to one of their philosophies and one of their groups. There isn't a single mainstream American philosophy that exists that isn't pushed by psychological operations units. So if you are pushing a gay agenda, you are also guilty of causing preventable deaths and exploiting starving children around the world. Even if you are pushing an agenda that supposedly helps these people, all you're doing is making people think that these people are getting help. Oh, don't worry about it. There's the large groups of liberals who, help people who are in need. Which is a very despicable and asinine way to pretend that you are helping the needy. A way that blocks aid, as if you have built a wall or shot down planes on their way there. people will say things like, well, don't put that on me. Don't put that on us. When you are supporting the philosophies of the propaganda arm or wing of the New World Order, you are helping maintain the system that is responsible for these things. One of you is responsible for oiling this machine. One of your groups, so we'll call it, the Satanists. We'll say that the feminists are responsible for replacing parts. The gays are responsible for doing checks. Testing. Making sure that everything's functioning as it's supposed to. The atheists are responsible for checking the temperature of the machine. The eugenicists are responsible for checking the output of the machine, and so on. And you're all working together, and you're saying, well, because I only play my part, I'm not responsible for the output of the machine or the machine's effect on the world. But you are guilty. This is why the Bible is correct when it says that if you do not follow the path, that you will not make it to heaven. If you love the machine, you will not, more than God, you will not make it to heaven. Hell, if you love the machine, period, you won't make it to heaven. So at this point, I will call you people, make the best of it type bitches. Make the best of it, bitches. Furthermore, anyone who is not a victim of psyop is not fit to lead at this point. In the future, if people are smart enough to see it my way, then the government will run psyops on their own people in order to give them the credentials they need to be a leader. It's a way that they'll prop them up. But at this point, if you are not an honest victim of a psyop, you are not fit to lead. Therefore, you have to look at the people who are victims of psyops, who are legitimate victims, and see among them who is the person with the most leadership qualities. Who are the people? Who are the top 100? Those are the people who should be leading America. All the technical experts and what have you, they should be advisors. And if caught selling out, if caught with ulterior motives, they should be shot. We can always replace technical experts. They come a dime a dozen. But true leaders are a rare and dying breed. When I step out of my shoes and I look down as a falcon looking at the world, flying over it, soaring, looking at the land, the people on it, I see that my rightful place is at the top of society. A leader, a well-respected warrior, a warrior pharaoh. All dreams aside, all cockiness aside, so help me God, this is the honest truth from the bottom of my heart, from my soul. So help me God. Let me die right now if I'm saying this out of arrogance or ignorance. I'll even go as far as to say, yes, I'm bitter about it. But this is the truth. This is what I honestly believe. My rightful place, I deserve this place of a leader, of one of the most respected, if not the most respected leaders. Uncontrolled. Not teaming up with cheaters or liars. I've gone through everything that a leader needs to go through. I've hung out with different groups of people, have a true understanding of society, a complete understanding. I know the rich, I know the poor. I know the cocky, I know the hopeless. I know those who wallow in self-pity. I know those who toot their own horn. I've struggled through the system. I've been oppressed. And all those who made it personal with me, honestly, they deserve to get shot. Not because they made it personal with me by itself, but rather the idea of the deeper implications of them making it personal with me because I'm a man of God who did the right thing. Those are the type of people society can do without. It is very hard for a rich person to go to heaven. If a leader is elevated above the richest people, it becomes very, very hard for him to go to heaven. And that is another reason that I deserve to be one of the greatest leaders in America today. Because I'm one of the few people that has a great chance of going to heaven, even though I would be given such great power, because my actions, I have a track record of being selfless, sacrificing not only myself, but my family's happiness. Not only my own, but my family's happiness. Being drugged. I knew this was coming. Go back to Illuminati Part 1. Look at the sorrow in my eyes. I was sad at my life and my broken heart. I hadn't been in the psych ward in a long time at that point. I was sad because I knew what I was doing and the consequences of it. And I did it anyway. That is one of the most respectable leadership qualities. This kind of resilience, this perseverance, this longevity, this moral will, this moral strength. That is what we truly need. And I've proven the psyops against me. I've lived in my parents' house mocked by inferior minds for many years. These are the qualities one needs to be a great leader. People think that because they have qualities that would make them a great advisor, that they deserve to be a leader. Having technical skills alone do not qualify one to be a leader. You say, well, I know more about computers. Well, I know more about the history of this country. Well, I know more about economy and so on. Yeah, you know, I mean, an advisor. That's what your skills, you know, that's the best application of your skills. It's the best place for you. But you don't have the moral will that I do. You haven't made the sacrifices, and the government hasn't targeted you because they know that you're a great man like they have me. Nobody, so help me, nobody deserves to be a leader in this country more than I do. Period. I'm the wisest and the best, and my actions tell the tale. My words by themselves are just words that anyone can say, but my actions scream this. With the proper advisors, I could bring this country to great glory and splendor. They have denied me my rightful place. They have denied me basic things like the ability to get my own shelter, the ability to get clean water and healthy food. Very basic things, because they're not wise. Somewhere on the top levels of society, they allow for this to happen. And on levels below that, in the rich classes of society. The eugenic running scum. Eugenic program running filth. They have allowed for this to happen, and they've made the call. These people are unworthy. They are unfit to live because they would do such a horrible thing. And they are unfit to be in a position of power. Simply by existing, they are denying me my rightful place, and many others theirs. There is no woman good enough for me. You show me a woman who has shown the leadership qualities and the admirable traits that I have. They don't exist. They never will. Yet I was denied a gorgeous wife, a fair wage. But those of you who've been following my videos, you know that I don't care about these things. And that's another leadership quality. Well, all these ninnies were saying bitch shit like, oh, who are you for this and this? Yeah, that's why you don't deserve to be a leader. Because you think about this stuff, this socially normative nonsense. You're neurotic with that. You're narcissistic. You're complex, having hedonistic trash. Overpaid filth. And your arguments reflect the fact that you don't deserve to be where you are. I've been denied my rightful place in society by people who are unworthy to live like the poorest, most destitute people on the planet. These people deserve to be in prison, doing hard time and prison labor. And even if they did it for the rest of their lives, they wouldn't balance out all their evil deeds. And many of them, ironically, talk about a balance between good and evil. A balance that nobody from their philosophy has ever been able to achieve. That by itself proves the ridiculousness and the insufficiencies of their despicable philosophies. You just remember that I die a man that is more righteous than all of you put together. A man who you have come together with this despicable machine to exploit and deny. Nothing should be more despicable to the human race than evil. And of that evil, there is a particularly repugnant form of evil. And that is denying people what they deserve to have. Denying children in the womb, the right to live. Denying people in underdeveloped nations the right to have clean food and water and decent living conditions. Nothing should be more despicable than this. But in this category, there is one thing that is the most despicable, and that is denying one of the most righteous men and the most deserving man his rightful place so he can change all of that. Now that might tie with first, in first of all the stuff put together or something, the idea that there's all these preventable deaths, it might tie in first place, But it's not going to be a close second. It has to be number one because it is what would stop that from happening. So as despicable as it is that is happening, it is just as despicable that these cowards deny the person who would stop it from happening the opportunity to stop it from happening by denying him his rightful place. And for that, they are unfit to live and beyond unworthy of their positions of perceived power. Thank you. There's going to be some gay or feminist or atheist or humanist or cop or some other kind of coward You know, even maybe, might even be a black person in a secret society or some club or some group of rich people, you know, who says, well, someone with a mental illness is the one who can lead us all, or he thinks he's the most capable or worthy or deserving. That is such a distasteful argument. Show me a valid scientific test. You're basing that on the opinion of the system and of the oppressors. You're basing that on the logic of people who don't even agree about what is quote unquote wrong with me, which I have presented a vast amount of evidence that there is nothing wrong with me. You are basing that on the most oppressive and politically abused pseudoscience in human history. That is akin to saying this person is the lowest form of life on the Nazi scale, and he believes that he deserves to be in charge? That is akin to a Zionist saying this person is a goyim and they think they should be in charge. Show me scientific evidence to that effect. Show me a valid scientific test, or it's just an opinion, one which the oppressor and all of his shells are quick to agree with you about. One which the most insightful and righteous minds will never agree with you about. And that is another reason why you people are unfit to lead. If you hide behind mainstream misconceptions and pseudoscientific eugenic nonsense instead of embracing the truth, you should be silent and let a man of truth that teaches people to live in reality lead, with righteous and capable men and women as advisors. Period. The person who would make the argument that the person who the New World Order is drugging every day thinks that he's the most capable of being a leader should be beat up and shot. This person lacks insight, and anyone who would criticize me with such an inferior argument should just be shot. No need to address their argument. They're trying to waste our time, distract us from the important issues. A leader has followers, and they would ensure that I'm not drugged. Very simple solution. It is because no one is helping me that it is easy to drug me. The prospect of a massive and effective militant group ready to war with the enemies at any time, at the drop of a hat, for doing something to hinder their progress, would nullify and negate any ideas the New World Order would have of fucking with me. The fact that I need to explain these things to the critics shows you that they have no business speaking in the first place. The only time anyone should question me is if it is a good question.